So now let's take a look here at example number 3. Suppose that instead of just having one function plugged inside of another, what if I was working with three different functions, say little f, little g, little h. They're all differentiable functions. And then maybe I plug h into the g function. But then I take that whole result, I take that entire g with the h plugged in, and I plug all of that inside of the f function. So I have like a triple composition. Could I find a formula for the first derivative here? And actually, this would be super easy to do because I could notice here that if I kind of, again, treat this g of h of x as one thing, I can imagine this as I have f with a single formula plugged into it. And so I would start by just using my chain rule. I would say I'm going to start by taking the derivative of f, and I'll leave the inside stuff all alone. And then I would look at the stuff in red, and is it just an x? No. So that means I would have to follow up with the derivative of that stuff. Okay, so this is kind of my start. Now, of course, if I wanted to continue to work with this, I'd have to be able to figure out what the derivative is for what I have here. But what I'll notice is that this is also a composition of functions. I have g with some stuff plugged into it. So to take that derivative, I would start with the derivative of g, and I would leave its inside stuff alone. And then I would look at the stuff. Is it just an x? No, it's not. So I would have to go ahead and just take the derivative of that now. So overall, what I would end up with is f prime of g of h of x times g prime of h of x, and then the derivative of h of x I could just write as h prime. You'll almost kind of see here that I'm kind of slowly stepping into my function, taking a derivative one piece at a time. I start with f, and I take its derivative. Then I can kind of peel that off and take the derivative of g. And then I can kind of peel that off and finally take the derivative of the h. And that's kind of what I have down here. So I can actually apply this then to actually take the derivative of the composition of three functions, or I could even generalize this pattern to go beyond three functions that are being composed. And we'll take a look at some specifics of how this will work in the next video in example 4.